Hello there everyone, this is Primal Thunder here. Today, as promised, we will be going over every single event in Season 8 of Pokemon Go, the Season of Light. We had a very fun lineup of events here today, as we have Inkay Research Day, Psychic Spectacular 2022, Clefairy Commotion, Deoxys Raid Day, Test Your Metal, Roggenrola Community Day, Safari Zone Goyang, South Korea, Fashion Week 2022, Evolving Stars, Mega Gyarados Raid Day, Festival of Lights 2022, Litwick Community Day, Halloween 2022 Part 1, Safari Zone Taipei, Taiwan, Halloween 2022 Part 2, Dia de Muertos 2022, Dratini Community Day Classic, Miltank Go Battle Day, Greedy Gluttons, Teddy Ursa Community Day, Team Go Rocket Takeover, Safari Zone Gardens by the Bay Singapore, Astral Eclipse, and Ultra Beast Arrival. Inkay Research Day. Pros: the release of Shiny Inkay. Inkay was shiny boosted and 2 times catch candy. There was really nothing wrong with this event. This event was decently fun. I didn't catch a shiny Inkay because I didn't participate too much. But it was still a pretty good event, which people got early access to a pretty fun shiny family. Psychic Spectacular 2022. Pros: the release of Shiny Elgium, the debut of Mega Alakazam, unknown E, P, and S were appearing in raids. Kadabra evolved during event hours, became Alakazam with the exclusive move Psychic. Alakazam can now be shiny in the wild. And the introduction of the Galaxy/Nebula Sky. There was really nothing wrong with this event. This event was a pretty solid event, and it represented the psychic typing pretty well. Clefairy Commotion. Pros: Clefairy was shiny boosted. That's it. That's the only pro. There wasn't really any cons either, because, there was just so little stuff going on in this event that's the only thing I could literally come up with. Deoxys Raid Day. Pros: Deoxys was greatly shiny boosted, and we had free raid passes from spinning gyms. This was a pretty solid event, especially if you didn't have all the shiny forms of Deoxys yet. Test Your Metal. Pros: the debut of Togedemaru, increased candy depending on your throw, the debut of Mega Aggron, the debut of the Ultra Beasts Kartana and Celesteela, and Aggron can now be shiny in the wild. There were no cons with this event. Overall, this was a pretty fun event that was all about adventuring and basically getting off your arse. And I get it, test your metal as in, stuff, and metal as in the material, metal, ha ha ha, you're so funny, Niantic. Roggenrola Community Day. Pros: Roggenrola was greatly shiny boosted. Boldore evolved during event hours, became Gigalith with the exclusive move Meteor Mash. The introduction of the move Meteor Beam. Did I say Meteor Mash? Meteor Beam, sorry. Boldore being defeated in raids would report players nearby with bonus spawns of Roggenrola that were also shiny boosted. The only con is that Roggenrola was not a new shiny. And it's a pretty nice shiny family, but it's not new. And there have been several events that allowed people to get it. Safari Zone, Goyang, South Korea. Pros: the release of Shiny Spritzy, the return of Safari Chew, a special research that gave a guaranteed encounter with Shiny Spritzy, Carnivine was appearing in a place it normally wouldn't, and unknown A, G, N, O, and Y were appearing, and everything appearing was greatly shiny boosted, including the unknown, because people during that event were getting a crap ton of unknown, especially the shiny ones. There was nothing wrong with this event. I mean, it's a Safari Zone, so I'm not gonna penalize it for being not global, because that's the whole thing. Fashion Week 2022. Pros: the release of Shiny Furfrou and Shiny Yveltal, or Yveltal if you like MNJ TV. The debut of Marini. The debut of Bowler Hat Diglett, Sunglasses Absol, and Backwards Cap Toxicroak, which you were able to evolve from your Backwards Cap Crogunks. And the return of Bo Butterfree, Backwards Cap Krogunk, Collar Blitzel, Top Hat Shinx, Top Hat Curlia, and Bo Smoochum. The only con is that there's no cons. This was a pretty solid event, and if you like costume Pokemon, then this is the event for you. Evolving Stars. Pros: the debut of Cosmoem, 4 collection challenges, the release of Shiny Xerneas, some Pokemon gave bonus Stardust when caught, and new pages of a Cosmic Companion were released. The only problem was that most of the spawns couldn't be shiny, and people hate when most spawns can't be shiny, which I understand why, because it's all about Stage 2 Pokemon, which most of those can't be shiny anyway. But yeah, the Evolving Stars event was honestly just more of a Stardust grindy type of event. Mega Gyarados Raid Day. Pros: Gyarados was greatly shiny boosted, and free raid passes for spinning gyms. There was nothing wrong with this event. Festival of Lights 2022. Pros: the debut of Morello. Chinchou was shiny boosted. 2 times Catch Candy and 2 times Catch XP. The introduction of bioluminescent Pokemon, which for those of you who've never passed biology yet, bioluminescence refers to when a living thing has the ability to glow on its own. And we have featured Pokemon from Incense. My only problem is that the event was too short. I understand they had a shiny boost available on Chinchou, and they didn't want too many people getting shiny Chinchou, so they just made the event shorter than usual. Litwick Community Day. Pros: the release of shiny Litwick. Litwick was greatly shiny boosted. Lampen evolved during event hours became Chandelure with the exclusive move Poltergeist. The introduction of the move Poltergeist. And Litwick spawned for bonus amounts of time after Lampent was defeated in raids. Nothing in particular. There were no cons in this event. I love the entire Litwick family. I made Chandelure my profile picture for a reason. And they have a stellar shiny family too, so I am glad I was able to complete that. Halloween 2022 Part 1. Pros. The release of Shiny Galarian Yamask and Shiny Noibat. The introduction of Pokestop decorations. Special research. The return of the Halloween exclusives, Yamask and Pumpkaboo. The debut of Mega Banette. Banette can now be shiny in the wild. 2 times catch, hatch, and transfer candy. The return of the Lavender Town remix. Even if you're not an OG Pokemon player, this remix is an absolute bop. I'd recommend you watch it highly. And Giratina, caught during event hours, got the exclusive move Shadow Force, which is Giratina's signature move. So yeah, there was nothing wrong with this event. The Halloween event this year is, every year the Halloween event is always something special. And I always have a fun time playing the Halloween event because Ghost is my favorite typing. And Dark is in my top 5. So I really always enjoy the Halloween event. And I'm looking forward to Halloween 2023. Have to wait almost a year. But every year they make it worth the wait. Safari Zone, Taipei, Taiwan. Pros. The release of Shiny Finneon, which is a long overdue shiny. The debut of Berry Shirt Pikachu and Green Balloon Pikachu. Pachirisu was spawning in a place it normally wouldn't. Pachirisu is a regional that only spawns in places such as Canada, Alaska, and Russia, so it does not naturally spawn in Taiwan. Unknown T, P, and E were appearing. And we had the return of Flying Pikachu and a special research that gave players a guaranteed shiny Finneon if you didn't stack up on them during the event, or if you want one that has guaranteed good IVs. Once again, there's nothing wrong with this event. Safari Zones are always usually a fun time for people to get to go. I'm still in school, so I can't go to any of these events unless there's one nearby. But yeah, once I'm out of school and hopefully YouTube will be my full-time job by then, I will try to go to one of them. Halloween 2022 Part 2. Pros. The release of Shiny Pumpkaboo. The debut of Spooky Festival Vulpix, Spooky Festival Gengar, and Spooky Festival Pumpkaboo. The return of Halloween Mischief Pikachu, Halloween Mischief Piplup, and Halloween Mischief Drifblim. Giratina, caught during event hours, had the exclusive move Shadow Force. 2 times catch, hatch, and transfer candy. And one of the biggest moments and biggest L's that Niantic had ever taken recently. And that was the incredibly botched debut of Zorua. This event had one really big con, and that is Zorua was originally supposed to make a surprise appearance during the Shuppet Spotlight Hour that will be happening during the event. Whatever Pokemon your buddy Pokemon was, whether if it was a legendary, shiny legendary, mythical, or even if it was a Ditto, it would be spawning everywhere, and you would catch it, and it would transform into Zorua. This was supposed to be a big surprise that even the Pokemon Company themselves was teasing. But when it first happened in New Zealand, when they got the Spotlight Hour first, there was a huge glitch where the Zorua caught during that would have the exact stats of the Pokemon it was. So if it was a 3600 CP Rayquaza, you would catch a 3600 CP Zorua with the height, weight, and stats of Rayquaza. So it was super glitched, and even to prevent the spread of Zorua across different accounts, these Zorua cannot be traded. And they canceled the event for all the other time zones. Because this would have been such an awesome debut for a highly overdue Pokemon, this was really disappointing and definitely one of the more bigger L's that Niantic took. But luckily they did fix it really quickly and made Zorua a part of the rest of the Halloween Part 2 event. That was a mouthful. Dia de Muertos 2022. Pros. The debut of Cempasúchil, Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir. Trainers in Latin America got additional increased spawns. Increased incense and lures lasted 90 minutes. And a collection challenge. Dratini Community Day Classic. Pros. Dratini was greatly shiny boosted. Dragonair evolved during event hours became Dragonite with the exclusive move Draco Meteor. And 3 times catch Stardust. There was nothing wrong with this event, which it's not really much. There's not much that can be wrong with it, because Community Day Classics can't drop new shinies because they're literally just remakes of old Community Days. Miltank Go Battle Day. Pros. The timed research had great rewards. Miltank was greatly shiny boosted. And the number of battles per day was increased to 100. The only problem is that people who weren't good at PvP couldn't really work on this too well, because this is a blessing for people who are really good at PvP. But those who literally just got Pokemon Go yesterday, they go into their tab and they're just like, what the hell is this? Greedy Gluttons. Pros. The debut of Guzzlord. The release of shiny Munchlax. Timed research had great rewards. And the introduction of widget-themed bonuses. The only problem is that most of the featured spawns couldn't be shiny, which was really a crying shame. Teddy Ursa Community Day. Pros. Teddy Ursa was greatly shiny boosted. The debut of Ursa Luna. The introduction of the Full Moon Sky. Ursa Ring evolved during event hours became Ursa Luna with the exclusive move High Horsepower. And the introduction of the move High Horsepower. Cons, nothing in particular. I would say that Teddy Ursa is not a new shiny, because it's been out for a long time now, but it's not that bad, because Ursa Luna is technically a new shiny and a new Pokemon. Team Go Rocket Takeover. Pros. The release of shiny Pawniard. The return of Shadow Mewtwo. The release of shiny Shadow Machop and Sableye. The return of shiny Shadow Mobile. The debut of Shadow Alolan Diglett, Onix, Natu, Wailmer, and Golett. Shadow Pokemon could forget the terrible move Frustration. Cons, nothing in particular. Team Rocket events are always a good time. Safari Zone, Gardens by the Bay, Singapore. Pros. The release of Shiny Purloin, the debut of Purple Shirt Pikachu and Purple Balloon Pikachu, Alolan Meowth, Togetic, and Shelder were spawning and they give bonus Stardust. Maractus was spawning in a place it normally wouldn't. Maractus in Pokemon Go has the exact same spawn range as Heracross. So when that Pokemon came out, Niantic probably just took Heracross's information and copy-pasted it into the code of Maractus. So once you get far enough into Florida or Texas, all the Tauros spawns would be replaced by Heracross and Maractus spawns. So I can confirm that it does not spawn in Singapore. And a special research gave players a guaranteed Shiny Purloin. Cons, nothing in particular. This was a very pog event. Astral Eclipse. Pros. The debut of Solgaleo and Lunala. 2 collection challenges. New pages of a Cosmic Companion were released. The return of the Nebula Sky. And Lunatone and Solrock were appearing globally. The only problem with this event was a pretty big one, is that you can only evolve your Cosmoem into one of its evolutions, which forced players to make a difficult choice. For me, I chose Solgaleo because Solgaleo I think does better, but I like Lunala more. So most people just go with their gut, whichever one they like better. But I want my Cosmog to be useful, okay? Nebby's been through enough. And in my opinion, they should have done a split decision where you could have chosen Sun or Moon. And maybe that could have been able to allow you to evolve into one of them, so you didn't have to make a choice. And maybe depending on which one you picked, you would be able to get an encounter with the other one. So if you chose Sun, you would only be able to evolve Cosmoem into Solgaleo, and maybe you would get an encounter with Lunala, and vice versa. They could have done it like that, but just a wasted opportunity. Ultra Beast Arrival. Pros. The return of every Ultra Beast so far, from Nihilego to Guzzlord. Minccino was shiny boosted. Timed research gave encounters with all the available Ultra Beasts, including the regional ones. And Celesteela is the most important because Celesteela is a monster in Great League, and there's no way to get Great League CP Celesteela from raids. So that time research was the only way to do it. The return of Beast Balls. Bonus spawns were featured near gyms where an Ultra Beast was defeated. And a collection challenge given from an exclusive promo code shared on their socials. Cons, nothing in particular. There were 2 live events related to this, but I'm not going to be covering them because they were pretty exclusive. And really the only major people that could go there were YouTubers, so... And I don't have enough information on them to cover them, because Cerebi is being very unresponsive right now. And yeah, that has been Season 8, the Season of Light. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And I will see you guys in Season 9, the Season of Mythical Wishes.